Anthony Martignetti lives in Boston, in the Italian North End, the home of the Prince Spaghetti Company. Anthony knows a lot about Prince because it's something that grows you. Most days, Anthony takes his time going home. Today is Wednesday, and in the North End of Boston, Wednesday is Prince Spaghetti Day.
Hey guys, you remember that commercial? Kenny B here, shaking off a little bit of a cold, and it is the 14th of October 2019. Little quick live video for you, as I said yesterday. Let's talk about Columbus Day, and I thought I did a little cast about this last year, but there's a lot of Italian heritage associated, at least in the United States, with Columbus Day. I do have to say that, again, cities and suburbs, welcome. 10/14/19, Columbus Day. And I have to say, I got up early today. I did have the day off, which I kind of struggle morally and personally with having days off, that the older I get, the more I scratch my head. Excuse me. But I did get up and I realized that, hey, I can watch Columbo today. I grew up watching Lieutenant Columbo, One More Thing. It was the newer versions when he moved, over to another network after being off the air for years. But I always loved Columbo. So it's Italian. President Benjamin Harrison in 1892 recognized Columbus Day as a one-time national observance as a result, and I did not know this, but you guys can go check this out, as a result of the lynching in New Orleans, United States, of 11 Italian immigrants. And President Roosevelt in 1937, after heavy lobbying by the Knights of Columbus and a New York City powerful Italian leader. His name was Generoso Pope. P-O-P-E. You guys have to help me with that. I am a French-American guy. So President Roosevelt declared October 12th as a federal holiday under the name of Columbus Day. So Columbus Day is celebrated around, actually, the world, Europe, not in Asia. Actually, there's a lot of states in the United States that do not recognize Columbus Day. Vermont, Maine, Florida. There's a few out there. Regarding the recognition of Columbus Day, Columbus actually landed in San Salvador. And, his men, it's a lot left out. You remember, what you were taught, the Nina, the Pinta, the Santa Maria, and life was fine, and it wasn't fine. It was actually the beginning of global immigration, right? Migration to immigration, where old worlds were meeting new worlds. And that's weird, because in the United States here, immigration started happening from Asia, with early nomadic humans crossing the Bering Straits through Alaska. Okay, and coming through and migrating into America. So mankind has always migrated. It probably always hasn't been nice for any species that has always been there. But we take these. But it's really interesting, because if you think about it, it really opens up the door of to people moving around, on a landmass, that people just move around. And I guess we're still nomadic, no matter how technologically we are advanced now. We're moving around, we're moving here, we want to move here, we want to go there, we want to go there. And when we move there, we want what we want. We don't want what's already there. Um, but, there were in New England, for thousands of years, uh, just in what we call New England today, um, Maine, Vermont, okay, New Hampshire, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, and Connecticut. There were nearly 500,000, 500,000 Native Americans, as we'll call them, indigenous people. Native American is an appropriate term. We are talking about the indigenous people, which is also recognized as and celebrated as a day of recognition in certain countries. And even in Massachusetts, there are some cities and towns that recognize the Indigenous Peoples of America Day, which actually, that's correct. I understand that, but attaching it to Columbus Day, I don't know if you need to separate that a little bit. So maybe we need a little bit more heavy lobbying as what was put upon President Roosevelt. So to make Columbus Day a national, federal recognized holiday. So, that's my my little shtick tonight. But yeah, the Italian thing is, in terms of the relation to the Italians, that was a terrible, terrible thing. You think about lynchings, and I don't think America has always made it really easy for anybody to come into this country. But if you have to think about what immigration does, immigration, I hate that word, welcoming new peoples and cultures into a community. Man, you wouldn't have meatloaf, you wouldn't have a hot dog, you wouldn't have hamburg, or whatever else is next, but the infusion of cultures, which, by the way, when the Europeans from Spain and Columbus's group also they shared cultures, but they also brought diseases that the New World, the Americas, had never seen. And, and swine flu, pigs, pork, all that stuff that was not indigenous to North America. So I don't make a big deal out of holidays. I guess this is my guilt video, I actually needed today because I wasn't feeling so good, but I really think about what a holiday is. It's not a holiday. We should recognize that as sharing of cultures in an appropriate way. We're making a really difficult time. The federal government today really needs to clean up its act in terms of, keeping America's doors open for business and welcoming people and not painting them as criminals. And we already have plenty of them here, believe me. So anyway, Christopher Colombo Day here, signing out from Charlton, Massachusetts. Thanks for listening. We'll talk to you soon. Night.